everybody, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you are doing well. In today's video, we'll be going over Six Flags Work Stories Part 2. For Part 1, I forgot to put this in, but our work uniforms consisted of a red visor, sunglasses, red shorts, a red fanny pack, either water shoes or Crocs, depending on how you feel about your tootsies. But weirdly enough, people wear socks with them, and you already know where they are in society, so we don't gotta go over that. You also had to put your respiratory system, the thing you blow into. And then, other than that, that's mainly it. You also had to wear, girls had to wear leotards underneath, like their shorts and t-shirt. And if you put that all together, you get this beautiful, beautiful abomination. It is just French kiss of ugly. But no. Well, I didn't have my visor my first day, and so I got written up, which wasn't great because getting written up on like your first or second day, not ideal. But yeah, from there I had to get my paperwork signed. He's saying, "Oh, the head guard did not like me. He just called me out immediately." I'm like, "Hey, I forgot my hat." And it's like, "Oh, okay, cool, written up." And I'm like, "All right, fine. I don't. You know what? All right, cool." But from there, remember in part 1 where I told you I was a wave guard? I didn't get stationed at wave guard or wave pool technically until July or mid to late June, because what happened was I was trying to like learn the basics of everything. I was trying to learn this and that and the other, and not to mention they didn't really need me necessarily, which did suck because I had to go to activity pool, which has like 2 slides and 2 to 4 slides, and then like a pool that's like 4 to 5 feet deep, and then you had kiddie pool. I hated kiddie pool. My first ever experience was I only been there 3 times, and I hated every single one of it because for the most part you're just there either sitting or standing, watching toddlers like run around, and it's like it's fine. It's just boring. Not to mention I also got in trouble because what we do for training is this: we throughout the day or throughout like a week or two, we get tested where you had people or your head guards put like a baby into like the pool, and like, you had to save it, or you put something in the pool, you have to save it, or you have to put someone in and have to save them, which is pretty cool. You got to test your knowledge and experience, to go over your stuff. But yeah, so my 3 times going to kiddie pool, I got in trouble that first time because what happened was this: I'm standing towards my stuff because you had to put your stuff behind like a locked gate. So I was looking at my like stuff from back there, facing that direction, and so as like stuff's going on, you have to like bob your head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 through 10, and then do an underscan, and then from there you keep doing the same thing over and over again. It was super repetitive. I hated it because it's like, who's gonna drown in a kiddie pool? And I was greatly mistaken because what happened was my head guard, he came up, he was like, "Okay, what is he doing?" He's just standing there. Mind you, I don't know what's going on. I forgot we get tested, so I'm like scanning, I'm looking around, and I'm like, all right, cool. I look down and I'm like, "Oh, whose doll is this?" And so I give it to him. It's like, "Hey, do you know whose doll this is?" He's like, "Yeah, you just, you failed, right?" And I'm like, "Failed what?" It's like, "Your test." And I'm like, "I thought this was a doll. I thought it was just a regular. It's like those baby dolls you give to like a 4 or 5-year-old just for fun." And so I'm like, "Dang, that sucks." But hey, he was like, "You're fine. Just keep in mind that you have to be mindful of that." I'm like, "All right, gotcha." Other than that, that was mainly it. But when it came to activity pool, it was okay. I had to save children, and I'm not saying that to be rude or disrespectful. I'm just saying that because the story I'm about to say is so dumb, and it could have been easily avoided if you actually had responsible and loving parents and actually knew their children well. So what happened was this, and how this works is I'm at a location at activity pool where you have 2 blue slides going down. Pool's about 4 feet deep, which is up to my chest, for example, And how you work it is like, okay, cool. You look at your head guard, your lifeguard at the top of the ride. You say, hey, kid's good. You can send the next two down, and then make sure to get out the pool. They can either go on the ladder or they can swim out to the main activity pool, which wasn't a bad thing because other than the occasional kid trying to, swim into the deep end or like try to swim inside the actual ride itself, it's not that bad. So I'm looking to my head guard and I'm like, wait, pat my head twice because hey, you need assistance for something. And I talk to these two ladies, and they say to me, hey, my kid can't swim. Can they go on this ride? And I'm like, no. No? And they look at me, it's like, but you're a lifeguard, right? And I'm like, yeah. You get where this is going, right? So they look at me and say, you're a lifeguard, though. You're going to save them, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they look at their kids and say, go on the ride. And I look at my other lifeguard. I'm friends with him. I'm friends with him at this point. And so I look at him and say, hey, Derek. Not a real name, but like I say, hey, Derek, look. These kids can't swim. And so I'm trying to like communicate that, like, hey, these kids can't swim, they can't go on the rides, but they keep saying and persisting like, you're a lifeguard, you can save them, you're supposed to save them. And I'm like, I understand that, but they can't. If they can't swim, they can't go on this ride. But I don't care. And at that point, I was just fed up. It's like, all right, cool, go on the ride. So first kid goes down the slide, and I'm like, all right, do you have to go in and save them? If so, okay, got it. But no, he goes on the slide. He starts treading a bit. He starts swimming a little bit. I'm like, all right, cool. He got it. But no, he starts crying and shaking. I'm like, okay, cool. That's not ideal. And so I have to tweet, point, go in, feet first, jump in the pool, and then save him. Give him the tube, and then pull him out. Like, hey, it's okay. Grab the tube. Pull him out. Boom. Second kid, he gets on the ride. He goes down. He just treads there, crying and shaking, and just like flaying his arms around. And I'm like, oh, this is such a horrible mess. I hate these parents so much. But no, save the kid, give him the tube. Same thing with like the first kid. Give him the tube, save him. As in the third kid, she's like a girl. And like, I'm not sure if she can swim or not. So I'm hoping like, please be able to swim. She goes down the ride, and then immediately sinks. And I'm like, oh no. I have to tweet, go in, save her. I have to like literally go underwater and like pick her up, put her on the tube, and like pull her out. And then as like the two ladies like approaching the ladder, as like I'm swimming towards it, they're like, you see the lifeguard was gonna save you. You see the lifeguard was gonna save you. And I hated the fact that I had to do that. Not to mention my head guard was there, and she was like, hey, what's going on? It's like, I had to see these three kids, and it's like, could they swim? And I'm like, no. And it's like, well, why did you let them go on the ride? I'm like, I told the ladies, like, hey, if they can't swim, they can't go on the ride. They just ignore me. It's like, all right, cool, understand. They had to file a report. They made their report, and then from there, it was just smooth sailing. Honestly, not really mad. It was just like, dude, if you can't have children that can't swim, don't bring them to like a deep water area. And they can't swim. Not to mention, not even to mention that fact, it just made me upset. Not to mention that, hey, they are like black kids, so that comes with like its own set of like biases and all that other stuff. But still, it like made me upset because like, you don't teach your kids how to swim properly, they're gonna like drown. It was just mad. It just made me mad because I'm like, dude, why would you put your kids in such like danger like that? But no, here's like a happy story or like a weird funny story. So what happened was, I was on break, and so as like you go on break, you have the opportunity to become like a rescuer or a rescuee. So what happened was, you would just go to your head guard or one of the many head guards. They would be like, hey, we need you for this. And it's like, what? We have to like to test a person. And it's like, oh, test a person? And it's like, yeah. And this is how I met my super close friend. And so basically, we had to get on this water ride. It was called Bahama Blast. If you know, you know. If not, boom. All right, that's enough. And so we got on the ride. It was 4 of us. We got on the ride. We got a tube. We went up these like hell of a ton of ladders. I mean, not ladders, stairs. Got up these stairs, we got on the ride, and so as we're going down, it's super dark, and then there's like some near the end of the ride. There's like a lot of the sun comes out, a lot less shading. So we got on the ride. We got off of it because a lot of the kids wanted to like get off the raft itself, so they like started shaking it, and then a few just jumped off on board, and so I was the one that had to be like rescued. So I was like flaying around trying to get saved by this one girl, and so as like I'm trying to do my best of like drowning, she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And it's like, is he playing like a prank on me? And I'm like trying to drown as best I can, and not to mention the head guards are there too. And so for the most part, didn't go well. I kind of got flamed for it. For like, "Oh, well, you kind of sucked at drowning." And I'm like, true. But other than that, that's really it for a fun little story. I hope you had fun, stay safe, and wear a condom. Not to mention, here's a fun little highlight of mine. Just played a game, got the new Zuri skin. If you want to see me live, let me know. There's a link in the description. Have fun. Oh, idiot.
I'm sorry.
I belong here.
Oh, wait.
Keep attacking, don't ever stop attacking, Xavier.